Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. It's been an interesting week in the world of wrestling. The turmoil in TNA continues, and there's been this trend on Twitter, this hashtag AskDixie, and that's generated a lot of interest and discussion from people. And I got a lot of questions here regarding TNA and other topics, so let's get right down to it. Let's start off with TNA. This first question here from Anonymous. So what you're saying is because TNA has bad business and ratings have been stagnant since 2005, that gives you the excuse to be totally biased against them. Alright, let's look at it this way. When I criticize WWE and TNA, as far as I'm concerned, there's two ways to criticize a wrestling product. You can either criticize it as a matter of taste, or you can criticize it for the way they do business. Let's give a non-wrestling example here. Harry Potter. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I don't like the movies, but I'm not going to go around saying that the Harry Potter movies are bad movies. I just do not like Harry Potter movies. It's a matter of taste. I actually think the Harry Potter movies are very well done. When it comes to TNA, when I criticize them, it's because I feel they are making bad business decisions. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a sports entertainment fan. I like TNA when TNA is good. I am a fan of a lot of TNA's roster. I'm a fan of Bobby Roode. I'm a fan of Samoa Joe. I'm a fan of Christopher Daniels, so on and so forth. I want TNA to succeed. I run a business. I have a website, and the more popular wrestling is, the better my business does. So it's in my best interest for TNA to do well. As far as the Ask Dixie thing goes, that whole video, why did I post that? You know, people are asking, you know, if you're trying to help TNA, why would you post that video? I think that, first of all, I have to admit, I found a lot of entertainment in the whole Ask Dixie controversy and all the buzz that it's generated. I found the tweets to be funny, and I do think some people went over the line with the trolling and all that, but I was entertained by it, and quite frankly, I think Dixie deserves it to agree. I mean, she has dodged a lot of serious questions. I mean, people have asked her, why does Hulk Hogan still have a job? And she will not give a legitimate answer. So, I mean, if she wants legitimate questions, she needs to start giving some legitimate answers. So, I posted the whole Ask Dixie video because I think that something needs to be done here. I think Dixie Carter needs to start addressing the fans. And I think when you have this many people that are angry at her and are lashing out, I think that this is a sign you need to make change. Now, people will say, well, what about if this was WWE, if there was an Ask Vince hashtag? The thing is, going back to earlier, a matter of taste. You can say that John Cena is being shoved down people's throats all you want, but the bottom line is that WWE is very successful when it comes to business. And John Cena is still making WWE millions of dollars. So WWE is not going to listen to the fans because it's about business for them. With TNA, they're struggling. And if you don't think they're struggling, then you're delusional. I mean, that is the bottom line. TNA is having a lot of problems right now, and something needs to be done. So I think that by posting that video, it will draw attention to the issue here, and maybe at some point, Dixie Carter will start giving some truthful answers and perhaps making some real changes to the TNA product. And this leads to the next question here from Evil Monkey 84482. Hey Aaron, do you think you could fix the problems in TNA? I think bring back the six-sided ring and purging the overpaid while pushing the underpaid would be two good starting points. What do you think? I honestly don't know what the true solution is for TNA. I think that the brand is severely damaged, and TNA has hurt the goodwill with fans over the years with just bad business. I think for starters, you have to push young talent. The bottom line is this past week on Impact when Chris Sabin won the world title, it actually did a better rating than usual. And yes, it was a special edition of Impact, so it was a very loaded show, and they had several weeks of build-up. But the thing is, Chris Sabin is a guy that fans have been behind. And you need to push new talent. You need to create new stars. That's the first thing that I would do to fix TNA, and you have to get rid of the guys that are not making a difference. And you know, Hogan, I feel is being greatly overpaid. Bischoff, Sting, and even as far as Jeff Hardy, I think you need to start pushing a younger talent. And if you're going to cut costs, you need to cut costs at the top, and not release guys that broke their neck for the company, and then you tell them they're going to have a job for life, and then you let them go. That's not good business. So, I mean, I think you really need to overhaul the TNA product. I think that you just need to bring in new people with fresh ideas and who are willing to take risks. You need to take chances. You know, last week when Saban won the title, I said that it was a good move because you have to try something different. And yes, Chris Saban has been around for over 10 years now in TNA, so I mean, he's not exactly a fresh face, but it's better than having a former WWE guy as champion. And the aces and eights thing, like I said, it wasn't working. When something's not working, you need to drop it and try something else. You don't just keep doing it and dragging it out, which they've been doing with aces and eights. So, I mean, those are some of the ideas, but I mean, bringing back the six-sided ring, I mean, it doesn't matter. I never thought that the six-sided ring was a huge difference maker. Yes, it helped TNA stand out a little bit, but at the end of the day, I don't think it matters all that much. And you know, you got to listen to your fans. I mean, it really comes down to that, especially when you're a small company like TNA. With WWE, it's a different ballpark. WWE has a large casual audience, and in the case of TNA, it's different. A lot of people that watch TNA are die-hard wrestling fans. They go on the internet and they are very passionate about the product. A casual WWE fan will watch the show and they might give up on it after a few years and move on to something else, and then new people will start watching WWE. With TNA, a lot of the people that watch are lifelong wrestling fans. They're always going to be there. So you have to start with them. You have to make them happy. You have to listen to them. And so, like I said earlier, until Dixie Carter finally starts speaking out about the real problems in TNA, you know, it's just going to be the same old thing. It's just going to be Hulk Hogan hogging the spotlight on Impact every week, and they're never going to grow. They're going to keep doing the 1.0 ratings. They're going to keep drawing 3,000 people to their TV tapings. Nothing is going to change. And yes, as long as they have Spike TV, TNA will probably stay in business. You know, that's the main thing that they have going for them, is the television deal with Spike TV. So, I mean, if they lose that, they're in a lot of trouble. All right, let's move away from TNA. Well, actually, yeah. One more question here about TNA. From SA1351. Hey, big UK fan. The only internet-based wrestling site I pay attention to. Thank you for that. Seeing where TNA is currently, wrestlers being released left, right, and center, do you see Vince McMahon buying out TNA or the contracts for the talent if the company goes under? To be honest with you, it's not like WCW. With WCW, there were some guys that had value. I think the problem is that TNA is so damaged as a brand, and a lot of the wrestlers are damaged goods. I don't know if Vince is going to have any real interest in any amount of talent. I could see them possibly bringing back some of their former stars like Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, and as far as TNA homegrown talent, maybe Samoa Joe, maybe AJ Styles, but then again, I just don't know if Vince feels that they're a big enough deal to invest in. And that's a business decision. It's not a matter of taste. It comes down to business. All right, next question here. Finally moving away from TNA now. Besides the past and upcoming SummerSlams in LA and WrestleMania 21, as well as No Way Out 2008, which other pay-per-views have you attended live? I was at the 1999 Royal Rumble, and that was an interesting show because that was back during a period when fans came to see the stars. They didn't really care about the wrestling. They liked the entrances like Val Venus and The Godfather and all that, and Jeff Jarrett with Deborah. coming out. And then once the guys got in the ring and started wrestling, the crowd didn't care at all. So, I mean, it was a very different period and what people were interested in. Now, it's the whole package, and, people like the in-ring action more. But back during that period is all about the characters and the entrances and all that. So, I mean, it was interesting to see how things have changed in WWE over the years. All right, one more today from Marco Coleno. Hey Aaron, big fan. Can you please review Undertaker versus Stone Cold at SummerSlam 98? I think it was a classic match, and Undertaker's leg drop was awesome. But I think it's underrated. Your opinion? I completely agree with you. I think that was a really good main event. I loved the build-up for that match. And, it was in Madison Square Garden, and I think both guys were hurt going into that match. So, I mean, that made it even more impressive. And, yeah, I remember the leg drop, and I just remember it being a very physical match. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that SummerSlam as a whole. I still think the best match on the show was the ladder match with Triple H and The Rock. But, I mean, overall, the top two matches delivered, and the rest of the card was entertaining by Attitude Era standards. And it was just a very good show. And, being in Madison Square Garden definitely helped matter. So, yeah, that was one of the better SummerSlams in my opinion. And that main event, I think, deserves more credit than it gets sometimes. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. I will get to more questions on the next video. You can submit questions formspring.me/AaronRift. And if you still think I have a vendetta against TNA, well, I mean, nothing's going to change your mind at this point. I think I said all there is to be said about it. So hopefully my thoughts today convince some people that I sincerely care about TNA and I want to see them succeed. But, people are going to believe what they want to believe. So stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest news and rumors regarding TNA, what's going to happen with them, as well as SummerSlam this year. We'll have live coverage. I'll be there at Staples Center to cover the event for NoDQ.com. 5th consecutive year, by the way. So yeah, like I said, stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time for more NoDQ&A video.